Welcome again to Candy Jack's Toy Box. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Aurora model kit. A while ago I did a video talking about the Aurora monster models, but the one I'm going to show you today is very special. It really requires its own video. The Chamber of Horrors Guillotine. Yes, this is an actual model kit of a guillotine, and it does function. It will, in fact, cut this little man's head off. It works about, half the time. It's not like a perfect thing. This is a recent reissue, I think from this year, 2023 as of now. It might have come out last year, but it's very recent. It is, we'll say post-pandemic. That's a nice, chipper way to put it. I did have a earlier release of this kit years ago. I think the one I had came out maybe 2000, 2001. Like I said, I had it when I was a kid, and I tried to put it together when I was very new to putting model kits together. It was a new hobby still, so I really screwed it up pretty bad. Like, it did not work at all. Like, the blade didn't drop easily unless you pushed it, because it would kind of get stuck between the pieces of wood. It would get really tight up here, so it gets stuck, so I'd have to push it down. And then it really was very iffy on if it would cut the guy's head off, because there's a little stem that comes out of the neck that you have to cut down and get it just right so that it will hang there, and then the blade will just kind of knock it loose. It's very low tech the way it's all set up, but that's to be expected because the original release of this kit was from 1964. This was back when Aurora was really big on making their monster model kits, and this was a natural extension. This is obviously not a monster, but it is a horrific thing, which kind of fits into the whole spiel. Now, as you can imagine, back in 1964, people were maybe a little bit more uptight back then about certain things. So releasing a functioning guillotine that cuts off a guy's head to children to play with was a little bit controversial. I do believe that one did cause some issues. I think it had to be recalled at some point because people were so upset. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I do know there was a controversy. In general, Aurora got, I think, in trouble a few times with just, uptight parents. Like, you can't sell this to our kids. Later, they would go on to do the Monster Scenes line, which included a variety of sets that were meant to be played with. Because that was the thing with models, is you build them, they're for display, you just look at them, and then more action figure type things were starting to come out later on. So model kit companies had to compete with that. They're like, how can we make model kits that you can play with? One solution for Aurora was to do the monster scenes, which included a functioning pendulum, models that had posable arms. There was a mad scientist, a Frankenstein, a victim, which is a girl that is wearing very revealing clothing, and you can put her on the pendulum or torture her with these other devices. There's all kinds of, it's kind of fucked up. I don't know. This is also, I believe, the origins of the character Vampirella, a vampire character. Also very revealing, even more so revealing clothing. That way, you gotta partially understand some parents getting a little upset about this. Either way, it was probably the most punk rock thing I've ever seen, and it's pretty freaking awesome. Maybe if I can ever get some of those, I'll talk about them on the show as well. I do believe they were reissued. That's the thing with these model kits. It's very expensive to get originals, but if they get a reissue, then maybe I can get one and talk about it. Enough talk, though. Let's get into the action. I want to show you the Madame Tussauds Guillotine. I believe it was originally released as Madame Tussauds Chamber of Horrors Guillotine. What a mouthful. Future releases, I believe, dropped the Madame Tussauds. Maybe it's a copyright thing. That is an actual museum franchise, I guess. Is that what you would call it? Is it a museum franchise? I don't know. Let's show you all the clicks and doodads of this thing, though. So here it is, and first I want to show you this amazing backdrop that it comes with. This is, I think, exclusive to this addition to the kit. The one I had did not come with this backdrop. I'm pretty sure the one from the 60s didn't have this. This is all new. In fact, I'll move this out of the way real quick just so you can check it out, because it's really neat. Just kind of like a dungeon, prison kind of setting. Or if you wanted to, turn it around, and it's kind of like the, this is sort of like the scenery on the box art. So real quick, I'll just take his little head off there, and so this is the head right here. I tried to paint it to kind of look like maybe he's a little bruised on the side, like they've been kind of beating him and stuff. This is a prisoner after all. And this is the little neck stem that just kind of sticks on top of the little body there. So his head's probably going to fall off while I'm doing this part, but I just want to show you, they really went over the top with all the mechanics here. So he slides up here, and I'm sure the head's going to fall off, but okay, it got stuck. Okay, there we go. Slide goes down, and now his head's getting stuck. So this is not a perfect situation, but there we go. Slides in. I'm trying to show you all the functions of this thing. So you pull this out, and that comes down. You got to really build this thing carefully, because like this is all, I painted this all myself, and you got to really think about how things are going to go together, how they're going to function. Like, for example, when I had this thing as a kid, I painted the inside of right here, and I think that made it harder for the blade to drop down. So for this one, I wanted it to function. Some people, they just want it for display purposes, and if you're doing that, then you can go ahead and paint the inside, but I wanted it to function, so I tried to avoid getting paint in here, so you can kind of see the slight color difference. Not super noticeable to me, and it's worth it to get the thing to drop down. I just think it's really cool. And there's the little basket. I kind of painted it to look like it's got absorbing all this dry, sticky, gunky blood. Just kind of wanted to look really nasty. And I'll pop his head off real quick, and you can see the neck stump, and there's more blood dripping down here. If you want it to cut off, you kind of have to get it to just dangle a little bit. It doesn't always work perfectly. But I'm gonna try to drop the blade now, and we'll see if it works. So you gotta unwrap that. See, that moves pretty good. Okay, let's see what happens. Then you can take that out, dump the head out. Yeah, when I had this as a kid, I glued the basket to the base because I figured, well, why wouldn't you? It's, what do you need to take it out for? But the instructions do clearly say, don't glue this down, and I understand why now. It's because the head drops in the basket, and now you can just dump it out real easy. When I was a kid, I'd have to stick my finger in here, try to scoop the head out, or turn the whole thing upside down. So, yeah, don't glue this down, basically. Pay attention to the instructions. Just want to show you all the detailing and everything. Not like the most masterfully done paint job or anything, but I enjoy doing it. Show you the top part a little bit there now. Final little detail I'd like to point out is right up front, the little nameplate that just says guillotine. I always like it when the model kits have little nameplates on them, or with model kits, figures, anything of that sort that you can put on display. It just makes it feel more like a museum piece. It's very cool. So there you go. That's that. So that was the Chamber of Horrors guillotine, originally released by Aurora. I forget the company that released this version. It might say on the box it came with this beautiful box. The version I had as a kid, the box wasn't this nice. It's I can't really do it right now, but there's this little slip case and everything. Usually I just pitch the boxes, and I don't really keep everything, but look at that. Beautiful. You can check out that nice artwork. You can see my camera screen being reflected in there. That's pretty nice. That's very professional. It says Doll and Hobby, so I guess that's the company that did this wonderful release. I feel like I'm talking about a fancy Blu-ray 4K release of a movie or something, but it's not. It's a fucking toy. So that was that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Candy Jack's Toy Box, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. I'm gonna do another one. She's just gonna have to deal with it. Didn't quite work.